go over to my building a square. I went ahead and muted the audio just so that you can watch me, but I'm going to be fast forwarding through this video, so it's not going to take the whole 15 minutes. But first and foremost, of course, I decided what size square I wanted to make. Then I came over to the wood shop. I ran over to the wood shop. It's very blurry. Hello, Jazz. Go ahead and sanitize, and then, of course, sit wherever you want. So I went and got 2 pieces of wood, actually, because that one piece of wood was not going to, or actually, I think it was 4 feet. No, I got 2 pieces. So I got 2 pieces of wood. I run back over to the black box. I lay my wood back out onto the table. Then, of course, I need my tape measure to measure out what the wood is. I know that it's a 2x4. So the pieces that I'll need are 2 9-inch pieces and 2 foot-long pieces. Xavier comes in to help me. So I go ahead and measure out those 9-inch and 12-inch pieces. Of course, leaving at least a little bit of an inch, maybe less than an inch in between for the blade to cut. So that's why I'm doing 2 lines per, and then I use the wood to actually make that straight line where I made the line. You can also use a ruler. You can also use like a booklet, literally anything that has a straight edge that will go on that wood so that you can draw out your full line. The reason that you want to draw out a full line, and I don't think I talked about this very much when we do this, but the reason you want to do a full line across the board is because when you put your blade down, it doesn't always hit that exact spot that you drew the line on. So we always want to make sure that we're drawing line all the way across. I ended up having a little hook that was on the wood, but it's okay because I only used this part of it over here. So I just kind of ignored the hook for now. We do have a lot of pieces of wood that are used. And so you do sometimes find nails or screws in them, and that's okay, just as long as you don't use that end that has that nail or screw. You don't want to cut where the nail is or anything like that. It can spark the wood and burn it, or it can also ruin the blade while you're cutting. So now that I drew my lines out, Xavier's going to carry my Mac over to the wood shop for me, where I will go ahead and cut that wood. So of course you got to wear your goggles when you're going to cut the wood. Then I line up the line where I drew out my line. And I put the saw right up against that line. And that's why it takes me a little bit of time to get that lined up, because I do want to make sure that it is on the line, but that the edge of the blade is on the line and not that the blade is like taking over the line, because then it will take off like a little bit of that measurement. So I go ahead and cut all the 4 pieces. Once I have all the 4 of my pieces cut, then I take it back over to the black box. I grab all of the tools that I need. So I grab a drill. I have those screws that are right there on the table. I grab drill bits. I make sure that the drill bit fits onto the screw by grabbing the drill bit, or grabbing one of the screws and putting the screw on top of the drill bit and twisting. If the drill bit does not move, if it kind of stays stuck, then it's good. If it kind of jumps on the screw bit or on the drill bit, then I have to change it out. So you see me kind of going through the drill bits to figure out which one is the right one. Once I figure out which one is the right one, I use it. I go ahead and pull it out, and then I go ahead and put it into my drill. Then I go ahead and arrange it into the square that I want it to be in, making sure that we leave the one on the inside and the longer one on the outside, because some people did make the mistake. Let me grab a square. Some people did make the mistake of, I'm just gonna go ahead and pause the video real quick. Some people did make the mistake of putting their square to where it was like this part goes on the outside, obviously, and then this part goes on the inside, but they put it like this. You see how it kind of goes around the wrong way. So because they did this, their measurements ended up coming out wrong. So I think it's 11 inches by 13 inches. So making sure that you are arranging it the way that you did the math for. If you did the math for this kind of shape or the way that this is done, then that's fine. Just as long as you make sure that you have the right mathematics done for that, and that you have it properly prepared. That is a mistake that does happen, and that's okay. No big deal. Let's get back to it. So now I screw in those two pieces together. Once I make sure that they are in the right spot. Once I've screwed those together, it makes it a little bit easier. That screw stayed out, which was very annoying. But it makes it a little bit easier because then I'm able to stand it up and screw it in that way. It does make it easier to stand it up this way, I found. And the first time that you do it, to have it laying down so that you can screw it in through the side, then you pick it up and do it from the top. It does make it a little bit easier on you. Then of course I get the other inside piece that measures 9 inches. I make sure that when I put it under there that they match up and that they're level, that they're not, you know, wonky or that one is shorter than the other. If that's true, then I can just shave off the other one so that it equals it. Obviously, if we want it to be a particular size, then we have to cut a new piece of wood so that it measures correctly. So then I screw those pieces together. Then of course, the last piece does go on top. Once I line that up, then I go ahead and screw that in as well. And then I have a nice little square, right? And I have this little piece over here where the drill bit would not, or where the screw would not go in. So that was how we built the square, right? Very simple, pretty easy.